Welcome back to the Why Are You Laughing podcast. We're doing it big today, everybody. My friend Dave McQuaid from Founders Brewing. And your buddy me, the Clappinator. Oh, a little Alice in Chains for you in the afternoon, I guess, anyway. Oh, my goodness. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday. Good to see you all again. Good to be here. Dave, what's going on, my friend? Happy to have you here.
Sam, thank you very much for having me.
Of course.
Thrilled to be checking in and talking about some cool liquid.
Of course, my friend. And for those who don't know what's going on, Dave is a rep for Founders Brewing, which, if you don't know, you won't know. One of the best in the business, has been for a long, long time. Dave and I met a few months ago, actually, in a local watering hole here in my hometown in Marlborough, New Hampshire, and we started shooting the breeze and chilling, and eventually we started talking beer, which is one of our passions, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Today is a tasting of some of their newest products, and I'm going to let Dave take it away, actually. I know that we're going to start with an IPA, which is one of my favorites, so we'll get right into that. But anyway, welcome, Dave, once again. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, I knew IPAs are right in your wheelhouse. I learned that right away.
Yes, sir.
Right before I even knew what your name was, I knew you're an IPA guy. So,
yep.
Yeah, so we've got, just a quick little background on Founders. We're a national company now, international company now at this point, and I'm just super lucky to be in a position to be able to spread the good word and be able to fit into a market where in this time in our lives we've got some incredible breweries doing some incredible things right in our backyard. So being a Midwestern Grand Rapids, Michigan brewery, to be able to kind of stand up with some of our more unique things in our portfolio. It's pretty cool. Pretty honored to be out here for sure.
Oh man, it's tremendous. I mean, like I know when I first met you definitely had a passion for what it is that you were doing. There's a lot of people in this business that, especially in the IPA business, that really don't know what it is to have that type of passion for what they're doing. But I could tell first and foremost that you loved working for the company and that you're willing to represent 100%. So, good on you for that.
Yep. Came up through a construction business, building swimming pools and hot tubs and home brewing on the weekend. And
wow,
got the opportunity just about 2 years ago to jump in and be a sales guy for one of the breweries I always had in my fridge anyway. So
awesome.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I think why don't we can get this show underway.
Absolutely.
Founders, we have a collection of different IPAs that we do. The newest member of our IPA family is the Unraveled Ipa. So what we have here is just a deliciously juicy IPA. It says it right on the label. Can't see it. Sam's got it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we know our identity. We know what we are, what we're not. We like big, bold flavors. We like to really overly hop beers and really come to the market with something that's a little bit more unique.
Right.
What I like about this one is, kind of the story behind it. It was a tap room exclusive the original name of this beer was called Mucho Lubo, and they brewed this beer with a desire to just totally overhop in a way that you can really capture a lot of flavors that something like an all-day IPA or a Centennial IPA couldn't grasp. So you got a 6.6% with 50 IBUs. And the unique thing about the Unraveled IPA is that the hop process during brewing, we actually use cryogenically frozen hops. And wow. During the brewing process, they actually extract what you call lupulin glands. So when you're putting so many hops into a batch, beer has a tendency to gather up this like really earthy, like vegetation stuff that all collects at the bottom and could turn a beer a little bit, grimy at times, or maybe a little bit, the bitterness gets shifted to a more earthy or grainy type of experience. But when you put so many hops into it, you got Simcoe, Mosaic, Amarillo, and Azaka, and you extract those purest glands of the lupulin glands, you get a result of some really cool citrus and stone fruit flavor profiles out of it. So we're pretty stoked about this one.
It's very tasty. I remember when I first tried it, I was very intrigued at how much of a sort of a natural team up, I guess it would be, with IPAs in general, because it has an original flavor, and that's why I always get it, because it's such a similar feeling to when I have the other IPAs that I enjoy, and this one it's got to be probably in my top 5 that I have on a regular basis. I always enjoy the freshness that it comes right out of the tap, and you can tell that it's fresh every single time that they pour it. And but that's interesting about the hops. I didn't realize that so much went into, discovering what actually goes into beer, and the stuff that you were saying, it comes out of the bottom. Yeah, I've always noticed that myself, but it's very, very tasty and not something that is overpowering, and I like that as well.
Yeah, and I definitely encourage anyone who listens to the your podcast, or even friends of friends who like IPAs, give this one a shot. I mean,
Yeah.
a 4-pack 16-ounce can of Unraveled IPA will only cost you about $10. So we're under that retail element where, like, right now you've got a lot of really great beers selling for like $15 to $20 for a 4-pack of 16-ounce cans. And we came into the market trying to get this in a lot of people's hands. So, maybe we underpriced it a little bit, but, at the end of the day, we got a really solid 6.5%, 50 IBU juicy IPA that, we can be pretty proud of, that can, kind of be that second option or first option sometimes for the all day IPA fans that we've got.
Now, when you think about selling this stuff, because I know how passionate you are about it, when you go to sell this to a customer, and, obviously they know how long Founders has been around for and the reputation that they have, how does it compare to, say, like, if you were, I know a lot of these guys, they're really only allowed to drink from their sort of product. So if you would compare it to, like, Two Roads, or, what else would be a good one? Or like a Rustic, or something local, how would that compare to those other flavors? Like, how would you exactly sell it to your customer?
Yeah, so I would probably approach, like, if I see someone shopping in a store that I know we sell this at, and they've got a 4-pack of, like, say, Stoneface IPA, something, a really nice, bold American IPA with some juicy undertones. If someone's got, a couple of those big tall cans of the Sierra hazy little thing, that's a kind of a similar, I mean, each beer is super unique in and of itself, and I don't want to take anything away from anybody else. But if someone likes that kind of beer, this is super approachable, and it's right in their wheelhouse as well. So if that answers your question, Sam.
It does. It does. It absolutely does. That's the key word right there, is approachable. There's always, people have a sort of identity crisis, I think, when it comes to IPAs, because it's a powerful thing when you approach a beer. If you're not used to drinking that sort of thing, you look at the point average and the ABV, it's very intimidating, because you sort of taste it. And it took me a while myself when I first started drinking IPAs when I was in the band.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. It was very intimidating, because I was used to drinking something a little bit more sweeter, but I came to appreciate what actually goes into the beer, and I think that's what attracts me to trying new flavors and trying different stuff, and that's why I like this one in particular, because it's not overpowering at all. It goes down very, very smooth, but it's still a 6.6 by volume beer. And it's tremendous as far as I'm concerned. It's very juicy, which is what people want.
Yeah, I think that one definitely can be enjoyed, by a large range of people. winter, summer, doesn't really matter. It's not going to,
Right.
be that type of beer that really puts you on your butt after, after two. Um, you know, you can pair it up pretty nicely to some grilled meats and some cheeses that are a little bit
Yes.
sharper, and it'll stand right up to it. And Founders is all about kind of pushing some boundaries of like, hey, what can we do with beer? How can we challenge folks' taste buds to, kind of appreciate, our spin on it, and while also celebrating all the other brands that are out there, and kind of fitting into that price point and the style is where we came up with this one for.
And that's the other thing too, Dave, is I appreciate what you just said about how you guys think about what it can go with. Because as a consumer, they want to know if it's going to go good with a meal. Sometimes we forget about how, sometimes things are soaked. Like if you go to a burger, sometimes you see it's soaked in Jack Daniels or it's soaked in some kind of whiskey. When you have a beer with your meal, it's very, very nice to have something that's kind of a completion of that meal. Something that sort of puts a cherry on top, and that's what I like about this as well.
Yeah, you want to definitely be able to compliment. Like if you're at a restaurant trying to figure out, what you're going to have for a beer, because they probably have your favorite one on draft, or you have a couple that you could choose from, but you're looking at entrees, you're looking at appetizers. Good rule of thumb that, I've learned, and I'm still learning a lot as I go. I mean, our education department in Michigan is like world class when it comes to, helping us put together beer dinners and trying to, navigate those waters, because we can't be experts at everything. Um, but a good baseline, like say if you're an all-day IPA drinker, if you like this Unraveled, something to really a sturdy, either a session IPA with full flavor, or this, juicy American IPA that we have here. It's going to go great with grilled foods, spicy foods, some fried foods, if as long as they're not too heavy.
Mm.
And the bolder the flavor, and the bolder the flavor profile, the further up that boldness in flavor that you got to match it with. So big bold flavor in beer equals big bold flavor out of the kitchen, and that's how a really good way to match food up. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
why beer and wings is always good.
It's always a good combo.
Oh man,
Absolutely. Now when it comes to these seltzers, so
yeah.
I was just down in Daytona Beach for Bike Week, and what I noticed was that pretty much a good amount of people are really, really enjoying this new seltzer stuff. Like,
Hmm.
and I personally, I can't lie to you, when I jumped into it, I was not a big fan. It just, the taste for me for a good IPA was key.
Hmm.
But by that same token, of course, I'm willing to try anything. And there were a few that I actually really enjoyed, and that you don't really taste as much of a seltzer as you would realize. I think that's kind of the misconception about a lot of these new beers that are coming out. It doesn't really taste as much as like a seltzer, and it doesn't sneak up on you. But when you're tasting it, it's very similar to like. Well, I'll ask you that same question. So how does Founders view seltzers as far as right now in 2021? Is it kind of like one of the biggest sales that you guys have as far as up and coming flavors, or is it something that was on the back burner for a while?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think just from our executive team and our leadership team, they saw an opportunity. This was something they were working on for a little while when the White Claw Truly thing just first started happening, and everyone in the beer business thought it was going to be a phase. Well, guess what?
Guess what?
I don't think it's a phase. That's why this is 2021 is going to be the summer where so many folks, I mean, everyone's going to be throwing their hat into it. Spindrift, my wife is just telling me, just threw their hat into the game. And, you got craft seltzers, you've got macro brands who are, I mean, it's out there. So,
Budweiser just
yeah,
threw their head in the thing. I mean,
yep,
half the podcasts I listen to, Dave, it's like that's some of the ads that are coming on the show. They're just promoting it to the max because of how big
yep.
it is.
Yeah, and it's a good profitable item. It's it takes a lot of special equipment to make it. So it's a large investment for any brewery to make it. But, it's a great trend, and IPAs are still 40% of the craft, market. But these, how do you categorize a craft seltzer in between all the different styles of IPA, stout, Scotch ales, red beers, whatever it may be.
Right.
So our whole drive and focus, all goes back to how Founders really tries to do things a little bit differently. Try to push that envelope of taste and flavor, and really challenge folks to really, challenge ourselves to make something that's just a little bit different to stand out. I mean, it would take you more than just this summer to try every new brand of seltzer out there.
Absolutely. That's and that, by that same token, that's exactly for IPAs as well. I was on a podcast. Shout out to him, one of my good friends, Cal Foda. He does a podcast called Brews Roundtable. I'm gonna have to send you some links after this, because he's very knowledgeable when it comes to that sort of thing. But
yeah,
he was dropping some knowledge on me about that as well. And what I noticed about the seltzers is that there are probably in New England, I couldn't even ballpark it, but there's got to be around like 800 brewing companies just in the greater New England area. Because you're thinking Maine, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, all around this one thing is a very, very big overdrive of popularity when it comes to IPAs. But with the seltzers, what's interesting is that if you were not a seltzer fan before, like myself, if you were not a seltzer fan beforehand and you tried some of these things that are coming out, that's how you do become one. Is you have a seltzer and you start to get more of an attraction to it. Because I was not a seltzer fan, but until I tried some of the stuff that we have been talking about right now, of course, I haven't tried these ones yet that you've given to me, but I'm anxious to become a fan of these. And I think that's what's more intriguing for the customer as well, is to become a fan of the seltzers, and that more of these brewing companies have something to say about it.
So. Absolutely. Well, I could definitely, dive into the little details. I'm wondering if I can share. Oh man, I'll have to send it to you.
Okay.
We
Sure.
do have a little commercial that we're just
wonderful.
Launched to the world.
Excellent.
Let me see if I can pull it up and send it to you real quick.
Sure.
Because it is really cool. Let's see if this will go through. And if it does,
maybe I could promote it as the commercial for this podcast, this one in particular.
Yeah. Well, while that's loading, let's just go down the quick highlights of it real quick. Sure. So we got in the market right now, as of last week, we launched our 15-pack variety seltzers, same price as all of our other 15 packs. We've got 3 flavors in that 15-pack. We've got the lime, the strawberry, and the grapefruit. What's cool about this, we founderized it, is what I keep telling people, because I'm still trying to learn how to sell the seltzer. But all the materials, all the ingredients, everything's real, like all real ingredients. The campaign is reach for real. We got pure cane sugar, blue agave nectar, a touch of sea salt, and real fruit juice. 110 calories, 4.5% ABV, and 4 grams sugar, 6 grams carbs. So
wow.
We print the nutrition facts on it. 110 calories is 10 calories above your super domestic White Claws and Trulies, but maybe just park a little bit further away from the store, and there's your 10 calories right there.
Just take a stroll down, and then by the time you hit the door, you'll be in shape.
Yeah. So right now we've loaded in as many stores as we could with our initial order of the stuff, and it's been getting some really great reviews so far.
Great.
I've been just trying to give out seltzer cans to friends, family, and trying to get as much feedback as possible, because it's something that you get a pleasant mouthfeel with it, but there's really no lingering aftertaste. Like with, some of the more, like some of the seltzers I've tried, there's like a little bit of like a chemical-y, like almost like Splenda type of thing. Yeah. I'm not going to name any brands, but I've always first seltzer I really started to enjoy was 603 seltzer. I think they've done a great job with that. They really have done a great job with sales, and having it in a 16-ounce can really kind of brought that from a casual seltzer drinker to, hey, these craft geeks really like the stuff too, because it's in a 16-ounce can. It's a great package. It's a great idea.
Right.
We got the 15 pack. We might be the only 15 pack in seltzer, at least for the time being. But it's all brand new in a store near you. So
that's interesting that you talk about the 603 because I went into Main Crest yesterday, the watering hole that we met in, and it's interesting, bro. Like there was a mix up and there was a situation where I couldn't get to my bartender as quickly as I could, so somebody sort of translated for me, but he didn't really understand what I wanted, and so I got poured a 603 black cherry, which, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a seltzer drinker. I know I said that a million times. It's not my thing. So 2 things that I didn't like: black cherry, not my flavor, and seltzer, another thing that I didn't like. But I feel bad, so I start to sip on it. And I start to sip on it, and I start to sip on it, and I realize, you know what? I do not hate this. It's actually not that overpowering, and I feel like I could have another one if it was the right flavor. So, situations like that arise, and it's very interesting to see what your taste buds actually are feeling. But that's an interesting thing, what you said about the aftertaste, which is always something that I'm concerned about, because a lot of IPAs, some of these IPAs that you drink, the aftertaste is so bad and it just sticks in your mouth. With the seltzers, there really isn't that bad of an aftertaste. It just kind of flows out, which I enjoy. I like that part of the aspect of drinking the seltzers.
Absolutely. And what do you want to start? Which flavor do you want to start with?
Let's start.
It's up to you.
Let's start with the lime.
All right. I'm going to pour mine into a glass. I know you probably will as well.
Yes.
Just because I want to highlight, just because we use real fruit in the brewing process, you've got an actual color to that.
This is what it looks like.
Put your nose over it. Swirl it around. You've got a fresh citrus aroma that just bursts.
Ooh,
with those bubbles. So you're already like ready to go, and it's just a really nice, easy drink, and it doesn't hit you super hard. It's smooth.
Wow. That's tremendous. That is tremendous.
You get a little bit of that sea salt. You get a little bit of the agave nectar that smooths out the sweetness of it. And
anyone who has put a lime in their Corona, this right here, don't mess around. This is 10 times better. Okay, I'm saying it right here, and I'm saying it right now. I enjoy this better. I'm going to get this from now on. Oh, my goodness, David. That is tremendous.
It's nice, right?
Holy cow.
And again, I was just like you. I was never a seltzer guy. I was a kind of a hater for a while because I was like, oh, these seltzers are taken away from my beer sales. But now I'm like, well, it's something that's not a fave.
A beer sale. Yeah, that's a flavor you can hold on to. Wow.
And the other part of it, Dave, too, Sam, is, we got a whole new, Founders has an age range of customers that, we've been a brewery since 1997. We've been in New England since 2013. So, maybe some of our customers, we're tapping into a new market. The seltzer drinkers are maybe curious about what craft is, or they're not even craft consumers in the first place. But this could turn them into a new fan and that could unlock our whole portfolio to them. Like, if they enjoy this, what else do these guys do?
Right. They'll just keep exploring and exploring.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because it's a big world out there for people who are, newly into craft, or even the people who are very craft centric, who just want to keep trying what's new and challenging their taste buds too.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. There's a comedian that I listen to all the time. Joe Diaz. Shout out to him. He's so funny. He talks about when he was younger that he was allergic to peanut butter. And when he was younger, he ate peanut butter and he kept eating it and eating it. And, by all the times and like all the hospital visits and all the needles that he had to go through, he actually adapted his body to eating the peanut butter and he was not allergic to it anymore. So it's so funny how things can change for just one person if you attempt to really, have. And a lot of it is this mindset too, Dave, is that when you go into something like that, if you go into it with a negative thing, it's going to be negative. But if you're willing to try, it's obviously, myself, for example, like this is tremendous. I could drink that. I could really, really enjoy this.
Yeah, I think we're going to go down pretty nicely this summer with, and I'm going to keep trying all the different brands out there too, just to, more engage myself with the market of it, because it's going to be ever changing. There's 400 something brands, or I don't even know what the number is, but there's a lot coming out, and stores don't have enough space to carry everything. They barely have enough space to carry beer. And now you're throwing 50, 60 different brands of seltzers at them. What's going to give, right?
Yeah, it's going to get confusing. I mean, it's, for those who don't know, I worked at a deli for a good chunk of my teenage years, and I did all that ordering, and I did all that stocking and things of that nature, and I enjoyed it. But one of the biggest things was trying to keep what was wanted in stock. And so I think that's going to be a factor as well with these seltzers, and I think you know that too, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hopefully we can get a couple new fans, keep it around, and just kind of grow it from there.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. I love. I'm a lime fan in general, so that's very tasty. But I think those who maybe aren't as big as lime fans could become one. This is great.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Is really great.
Absolutely. Yeah, glad you like it. Yeah, again, just trying to get in front of as many people as I can with samples. I mean, I've even had, I've been walking into a store and someone asked me about it because they see it on social media, because we have a tremendous marketing push on this stuff right now. So if someone sees that I got a logo on and they're like, "Hey, you have any of those seltzer samples?" And I'm like, "If I do, go ahead." But I'm already giving them all out for the day.
So let me ask you about this logo, because this is a very interesting logo. Now, I don't know if anybody can see this, but it's I got a light problem over here, but it's kind of reflective. Maybe I'll put it up on one of the pictures. But you can't see it. It's a skull hand holding up a lime, and these other ones, as we'll go through, me and Dave, there'll be different fruits as we go. So now, what is the name of this one that we're drinking? Is it Mas Agave?
Yes, Mas Agave lime.
Okay.
And the cool thing about our brands, our brewery, I mean, a lot of thought goes into naming beers and what we're going to use as a marketing campaign. And one of the really great anecdotes that if you really get into it, something like a cool story to kind of tell at a party or something. But
sure,
we actually hired some independent artists to come up with the branding of this. We have a very heavy Mexican culture influence to their work. So the whole brand of Mas Agave and the artwork on the can is all based upon, paying homage to the Dia de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead.
Day of the Dead. Yep.
Yep. And you've got some really cool little elements built into the design as well. The monarch butterflies are really symbolic to, around that time of year where there's a big monarch butterfly migration, where in Mexican culture, those are the souls of the dead that, come back to visit, and be able to enjoy their surroundings, everything like that. And then you also have the blue agave nectars, or all the blue agave plants around the can. And then lastly, the marigolds, those little orange buds. Marigolds are what grow and could be wrong on this one, but the marigolds have a very high significance as well during that time for, again, memory and in memoriam of their ancestors around grave sites. They will decorate the graves with marigolds as well. So
Gotcha.
very cool tie-in. Lots of great marketing. I sent you a video, so maybe you could. There's a really catchy jingle to that too. I don't know if you can get it from the speakers, but it's going to be in your head. Trust me.
So when I was younger and probably middle school, we did learn a lot about that culture. And, it's interesting that you mentioned all the decorative factors, because we used to research a lot of that stuff. And it's amazing the amount of work that goes into that sort of culture in that day specifically. They really do put a lot of stock into that celebration. And I guess, what's interesting about these cans also is that they kind of mirror that sort of thing. But anyway, so what's the next one do you want to try the strawberry one next?
Yeah, that's strawberry's been, that second in command. It's been getting a lot of really strong reviews. Even for people that don't particularly like strawberry, they've tried it, and that's kind of changed their mind on that kind of flavoring. Okay. And just pour that into the glass. You've got just a beautiful, pinkish red hue. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I mean, again, all real fruit juice,
Ooh.
Real flavors. Agave nectar smooths out the sweetness of it.
I like
little touch of sea salt. Man, again, another.
I don't like it better than the lime, but it is tasty. That is good. I do like it. Like, this would be a good secondary one to have. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yep. So, and eventually too, worth mentioning that, even though we just have the 15 packs out for the big launch, eventually this summer, we'll have 6 packs of individual flavors. So if you're a lime guy and someone that's a strawberry person, you'll be able to get individual 6 packs of those flavors.
Right.
That'll be kind of cool.
Wow, that's tasty. That is the thing I'll say, is that they do maintain their flavor.
Yep, absolutely. Real pleasant going down, and no real aftertaste, hanging around.
No, that is very, very good. Yeah, I was always a strawberry fan too. You picked some good flavors for me, Dave. You got like lime, strawberry. The next one that we're gonna try, grapefruit. Grapefruit, like, that was always a constant in my life too. Was that growing up, even before school, my mother would be like, "Do you want grapefruit with toast?" Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
Wow, that's very, very good. Now, which one would you choose if you had to pick one? What would be your favorite to go to?
Man, it's a tough call. I mean, I kind of like the exclusivity of the grapefruit, because you can only get that in the 15 packs.
Really?
So I'm big on grapefruit at the moment, but I've kind of spent some time on each, and I think they're all tremendous. I mean, I would go probably grapefruit, strawberry, lime, or like grapefruit, lime, strawberry. Like, it's
Gotcha.
Depends on the day.
It certainly does. Isn't that interesting, bro? Is that how, like, people equate the lime and in a beer sort of format to the summertime? They summertime is just such an attractive quality. Especially up here in New England, where we freeze 4 or 5 months out of the year. We're certainly ready for something like this by the time it comes around. Like, I know for myself that's exactly what I look forward to, is just being with my friends on the beach and then going and having a beer. And, who knows, that I enjoyed that. That is very, very good. So, I mean, let's talk a little bit about, kind of taking a pause from the tasting a little bit. Let's talk about how you got involved in all of this. And I know you told me, but for the audience, this is a very interesting story. And you actually got to meet some of the people that are in charge of this whole business. Now talk about that for a few minutes.
Yeah. So, Founders obviously being a, world-class operation, I kind of went into it not knowing much about the industry. I was getting out of the family business, which was doing pools, hot tubs, plumbing and heating, based in Pepperell, Massachusetts. So I've got, for my first day at Founders, after I, accepted my offer, they flew you out there to Grand Rapids, Beer City, USA, by the way, worth a visit. Um, and then the first day of work, I am met down in the lobby with the one of the owners and his the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, like you see on the all day cans. So that was my commute to work, was in the Woody wagon, and for the next 4 days, I was basically in the it's a top notch training. They really go over all the things you need to know, all the things you don't, what to look for out there for opportunities. Just an absolute, all the tools. Just a great organization to work for. Totally transparent with all the stuff that's going down from top to bottom.
That's interesting, because it's funny you say that, because I was in the car industry for about 3 years, and I never became a salesman, but what I did notice about the salesman, I mean, they offered it to me. They said, Sam, when are you going to come be a salesman? I said, I don't have time to be a salesman right now. I says, because when you become a salesman for a car company, that is your life. It takes over, and we won't get into any of that, but it's always intrigued me the amount of the training that goes into it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's constant.
I feel like what it's about what you just said, Dave, is that when you have a passion for that sort of thing, it's a lot different than when you don't. So, the amount of training that goes into the car business, I feel like if you're in the line of work that you're in, when you're just being introduced to something new that actually you have a passion for, then that's different. That's very interesting that you say that. I mean, I'm rambling at this point, but
that's all right. That's all right. I mean, one of the cool things that we always talk about as a whole, like Northeast team, is, we kind of operate within these different overarching principles. Kaizen is basically the state of mind where you're always looking to improve.
I guess what I was trying to say is that it's more of, you're more intrigued in this line of work than you would say as being trained to something that is not your forte. Because it's like when you become a salesman, this is stuff that you have to learn, whereas if you go into the line of work that you're in right now, it's something that you want to learn and that you're intrigued by.
Yep, I totally feel you on that.
Just couldn't get the words right because I'm not college educated, ladies and gentlemen, as you well know.
I think you stuck the landing, Sam. I agree. I mean, this was when I first kind of had the idea of throwing my hat into the ring and interviewing for this job. I was like, man, I just really I'm so passionate about this, about all beer, craft beer specifically, and just the even opportunity to learn a new role, a completely different industry, and how much everyone's engaged with me. And I've had all kinds of opportunities to provide input on what's going on out in our neck of the woods that can be improved from, upper brewery level as well. So definitely been a cool process, and, definitely feeling very blessed and very happy.
Sure. Now, have you traveled far from, or have you just, I know you and I have discussed this previously, as far as, you go into the more northern areas like Maine and stuff like that. Have you traveled further than that? Like, have you gone south at all, or, further west, or is there something that you aspire to go to? Like, would you like to expand your horizons as far as the country goes?
Yeah, well, I think, my family's all from around here, so definitely want to kind of live in this market somewhere
Stay
between
local. Yep.
Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine is my big territory that I cover for the brand.
Right.
One of the cool things that I haven't yet get to do because of COVID, we used to, there used to be uh, quarterly, there was opportunities where you could fly to a different part of the country
Uh,
to do what's called crew drives. You go connect with, because we're all talking the same language as a founder sales team, so they're all selling the same stuff, talking about the same things, same time of year. And we can go help them with a crew drive where usually it's an organized week of events where you've got a list of places to go stop in and say hello. Nightly events where supporting all of our restaurants and bars that have us on the menu. It's just a really great opportunity for camaraderie, but obviously, the opportunity for that over this last year was, obviously off the table.
Obviously the worst. Oh my
So
goodness.
eventually we'll get back to that, and I'd love to host one because I think a good stop would be Main Crust to
Yeah.
get a bunch of folks together and gather and just celebrate and enjoy some good beer and food.
They really. It's funny, Dave. The more because I'm a regular in there, and more often than not, the comments that I get about how great that place actually is would be the comments as follows. There's such a family oriented place. There really
Yeah.
are the ones that are loyal are in there. And,
Mhm.
before this COVID thing ever hit, they would have trivia nights. They would have, theme nights, whatever it may be. People are in there. And, that's is actually a good topic of discussion as far as founders goes, is because they've built a reputation over the last 20 some odd years to continuously make people feel like family. And that's kind of what you and I started talking about when you and I first met, is
Mhm.
that when you drink an IPA, you're drawn to it because you want to come back to it. Whether it's the flavoring, and when you're a store owner, you're also drawn to the salesman, and you're also drawn to the aspect of comfortability. You know, and that's why you do such a good job yourself, man. Is because a lot of the people that know you always have great things to say about you, and that's why I asked you to come on the show, because I've enjoyed having conversations with you, and that's why I drink Founders today, is because it's not about sales. It's about developing those relationships, like you were
100%.
saying earlier.
100%. Yep. It's 100% a relationship business. You could be selling anything. It could be the best thing in the world. It could be the worst thing in the world. And, you know, our, our job, number one is to create relationships with the accounts that mean something to you and know that, you can help.
Right.
Um, so I kind of go out of my way sometimes to go stop in there to
Which is
see those.
great.
I mean, just because it's like you said, it's a family atmosphere. They've really pushed through all the obstacles that they've had, and I've got several accounts that have gone through each their own individual trials and tribulations, and I feel for so many people who have gone through stuff like that, and
Yeah.
everyone's coming out on the other side 10 times stronger,
Yeah.
and it's a great opportunity for us to just do what we can. I mean, even just if it's just a check-in email or a text message going, "Hey, how you doing? How you making out? Things picking up? You looking for anything from us? I can bring anything to the table that's within my control."
Right. Which goes a long way, because I mean, you look at some of the local businesses here who have lost their jobs.
Mm.
It's unfortunate, but a lot of the most American people can't keep up with what the needs of the country are. They're fighting and fighting to stay alive, and especially having good products is key, because that's
Mhm.
what draws people back to local businesses.
Yeah.
It makes them comfortable, and it makes them realize, oh, I want to help these people. I want to help them keep their business afloat.
Yeah.
You know,
And
because
you've seen a lot of different organizations emerge. Like I'll take, for example, the Barstool Fund. What they've done for, small business, mostly service business, service industry, food industry. They've done, that's just one, example. But people really have that community feel more than they ever have.
so talk
So
about
people,
that for a minute, because I'm not
yeah.
actually familiar with that fund. What does it actually do?
So Barstool Sports is a media and news outlet, I guess you could say. They're a
Right.
juggernaut at this point. They started as a school paper in college in Michigan. Well, Michigan, I think it was. Yeah, started as a paper.
Okay.
Anyway, I think he's built it into this empire where you get sports news, you get entertainment, you get content on social media, you get all this. I mean, it's
Yes.
just there's so many different things that they cover on that. So
Right.
whatever you do,
Right.
tournament. So
The Barstool I actually knew about, but I didn't know that they
yeah.
had started a fund. That's very interesting.
Yeah, the Barstool Fund. I mean, they've raised, I think, over, it's either at or over $50 million
Oh my word!
just in like a short. I mean, it could be way over that too. Honestly,
Wow.
they've had thousands and thousands of donors to it. There's been a few local businesses. Like I know one of the first businesses to get, it's all overhead costs. So if they're selected, whatever keeps the lights on. So payroll, utilities, rent is generally what the deal is with that. One of the first businesses in our neck of the woods that got the Barstool Fund nationally, they were one of the first chosen, the Village Trestle in Goffstown. One of the,
Wow.
it's another one of those like really cool atmosphere, family type vibe, real strong food menu, good beer list, downtown, and yeah, she was one of the first to be chosen. And
Wow. That's
you bet
crazy.
your butt she's got Barstool posters all over that place at this point.
That's funny. So this past summer, this past year, it was June, and I was vacationing with my family in Maine. We have a house over there in Keezer Lake, and we're on the boat on the lake, and I'm chit chatting with my brother back and forth, whatever. We're talking about Barstool Sports, and we're talking about the pizza reviews,
Oh, the best.
which are ginormous. And so I said, have you heard about the first 10 out of 10 pizza review that Barstool had? And he goes, they've never had one of those. And I says, yes, they have. He goes, I don't think so. I looked it up just to show him the article. One of my closest friends in Lynn, Massachusetts, shout out to them, Monty's Pizza in Lynn, had the first and only 10 out of 10 on Barstool.
That's incredible. That's
And
incredible.
I showed him the article, and he was just like, whoa.
Think about, and
It's
too,
incredible.
think about
Right
that.
in our backyard. Who would have known? Who would have known? You just got to
And
take a
he's all
chance.
over the place with that. And think about what that's done for Monty's.
For Monty, for the community, for all
The
those
community.
local people. Yeah, it's crazy.
People come into town, they want to know what the deal is with that pizza. And then they're also shopping in the other outlets. They're like, this town's got something cooking, man.
Exactly. Like it's all around right there. That is incredible. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do enjoy, a lot of great entertainment.
Right.
So big shout out to Portnoy and the team for sure.
All right, so let's go to this last one that we're talking about. Once again, Mas Agave, Grapefruit Premium Hard Seltzer.
Yep.
Let's try this one out.
Yep. It's for all you folks that don't like grapefruit or maybe have had a bad experience with grapefruit in the past, give this a shot. Try it out. It's not your typical pucker sour grapefruit. It is just a nice. You can't even see the can. Sorry. It's not going to bite. Give it a shot.
Yes.
Only get it in the 15 packs.
If you can see it on my screen, I know there's a big glare, but just a sort of a informational thing, ladies and gentlemen, for this next post on my Instagram account for the Why You Laughing podcast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take individual pictures of all of these cans so that you can see them along with possibly this commercial that Dave and I have been discussing. I'm going to try to put that up, and either that or I'll leave a link in the post so that you can all see what we're doing here. But this is again, this is very, very tasty. I do not mind that one bit. And it's a clear one, kind of like the lime. Got a little bit of the color, a little bit.
Yeah, just a slight hue, nothing.
Very tasty.
Not too much carbonation, not too little. It's just kind of right in the middle.
Now, how many flavors, Dave, do these guys have when it comes to the seltzers? Like, do they go through a lot? Because there's a lot of fruits actually that are around. Now, how many flavors do they have for the seltzers as far as 2021 goes?
As far as 2021, we might get a sneak peek at one more before the end of the year, but these are the three that we're rolling with right out of the gate. We're going to get it all out there in distribution, and there's talks. They're already doing all kinds of R&D. If you were to ever go to visit the brewery, they've got 4 or 5 brand new flavors that they're working on. Everything that comes to you as a beer or a seltzer at one point was a taproom mug club member R&D. So that's where all the testing goes. If anything's worth a darn, the mug club members have to approve it, and then it goes up the ladder. Tremendous. So lots of flavors in the works for potentially end of this year and definitely next year.
So talk about that for a minute, because it's interesting to see how, as of recently, a lot of these restrictions are being kind of lifted. How is it going at the brewery right now with restrictions? Are they doing tours? Are they doing tastings? What is happening over there?
So as far as I know, they do little updates every other Friday for us. And they've been, closely following the guidelines, because they do a significant amount of business out of that tap room. There's people that fly in from all over the world, all over the country to just, grab some beers and some incredible deli sandwiches at the tap room. Yeah, the brewery's enormous. I think it holds close to 600 people.
Oh my goodness.
There's a lot of room in there, a lot of really cool, unique test beers that people are always trying to get your hands on. I think they're at 50% capacity right now. So they've had all the guidance. A couple of staff members early on, earlier this winter had, maybe had close contact, but never tested positive or anything like that. We've also got a Detroit tap room too. So if you don't make it out to the western side of Michigan, Detroit's tap room and tasting room, they do some Detroit only beers out of there. They're all just following what they can before they can open, and doing a lot of takeout business too. Takeout beer, takeout food. Their sandwiches, pizzas, everything. It's just absolutely incredible.
Is it all locally made, or do they make it right there at the brewery?
They make it right there at the brewery. They locally source a lot of their ingredients. They'll do some breads, and for some of their sandwiches and their pizza using spent grain. They've got seasonal rotating menu items. A lot of really, really cool, innovative sandwiches that just explode with flavor, and something for everybody, for sure.
That's incredible. I had no idea how big it was, because it's like a lot of these breweries, they do it big when it comes to that sort of thing. It's just another attraction to what it is that they do, which, very commendable. So, the last time you and I hooked up down there at Main Crest, we were chatting about this Oktoberfest that was coming up, not last year, but obviously this year. Now, talk about that for a little bit, because it was intriguing what you had mentioned to me about what's going to be entailed in that sort of conglomerate.
As far as the festivals, is that
right?
Or the
right? What is actually going to be happening? Are there going to be tents set up and stuff like that? Like, you'll be able to go to different areas of the festival to try these different beers?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love a good beer fest, right?
Oh, yeah, please. I can't
one of the
wait.
coolest parts of summer in New England is all the really packed, crowded beer festivals. There's one festival that we've been tentatively planning on doing. Only one on the schedule. Usually there's
Right.
one every weekend, starting from about now till you know next winter, basically.
Right.
The Bacon and Beer Festival, which happens it's always happened every year between Nashua and Merrimack. They've changed sites a couple times. They're going to do it at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Um, Beer samples, bacon samples, or bacon inspired one bites. I mean, come on,
Yes.
right? They
Yes.
know the crowd they're playing to.
Please.
So it's a big charity fundraiser for the High Hopes Foundation. So High Hopes Foundation, New Hampshire, they do a lot of really great things for really worthy families who get granted wishes for special circumstances. So really, really great, close to our hearts community type of a thing that they're fundraising for. But man, I hope it happens. It's supposed to be scheduled for July 10th, and we're working on finalizing some restrictions and details as things lift
Right.
for the Oktoberfest. Like
Right.
one of the best ones ever is in Burlington, Vermont, right on the shores of Lake Champlain.
Big
And
spot. Big spot for beer.
yeah, that's an incredible atmosphere right on the lake. Whether it's rain or shine, it doesn't matter. It's a great time.
Yeah. Oh,
So we're hoping
absolutely.
that more things come back. I think it's just a matter of people are in a holding pattern right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too, man. I mean, you obviously we've discussed this extensively, together, but that's gonna be a really happy time, and people are gonna want to get out just like they do right now. They want to get
Yep.
out, but it's just that's incredible that Founders is really taking in the safety and consideration of those around them to make it a really nice and cooperative festival. That's very good. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I can't wait to get back there. But
right.
if it means I gotta put on a mask or whatever just for a little while longer, just so we can have beer festivals back, come on, it's no
Right.
brainer. I don't want to, start any fires with the anti-maskers out there, but
No, I know you can't.
we're almost there.
It's
We're almost there.
yeah, we are, man.
Get a shot, put on a mask, and then drink some beer later on. Summer's
It's
coming.
it's funny, man. I think one of the biggest things that I ever promote on this show is patience and positivity. We talk about a lot of the times we talk about how it stinks that we have to sit in here. It's horrible that we can't do the things that we would normally do. But at the same time, it gives the opportunity, such as beer companies, to really discover new flavors and plan and sort of, go back to maybe the roots of what matters to their customers the most.
Hmm.
Like I think about when I come out with this documentary that I've been sort of promoting on my show, when I go back and I look at my roots, what is going to be the most attractive to people and want, to get them to view self-success, which is a huge deal. And you've done that yourself, Dave, especially with, your sales. It's like you can tell that people are satisfied with the person that you are. They're like, they can go to you for whatever it is that they need, and they know that you are reliable. So that's a big message for our sort of theme here today is be reliable towards yourself.
Yeah, big time. I can't agree with that more. You're not going to please everybody,
No.
but if you can work really hard and, just do everything you can to be satisfied with yourself and who you are and being comfortable in your own skin, that's a huge part of confidence for
Absolutely.
sure. And you
So,
got to generate that. It's hard to generate, right?
oh, absolutely.
You wake up on the wrong side of the pillow, it could throw off your whole day, but
It can. It absolutely can. But
give thanks for life, man. Give thanks for life and beer.
in life and beer, yeah, exactly. Well, David, thank you so much again. My friend, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on the show. It means a lot. really.
Yeah, that's
And
great. Appreciate you.
as a representative of Founders, you've done them a great success, and we hope to chat again at some point when everything's better. But obviously, we wish you good things, and we wish Founders good things, and hopefully they get to hear this. That's
They will. Trust me, they will.
Oh, great, great. I'm gonna try to promote this thing as much as I can, and everybody else, please go try Founders' new seltzers. Go try their IPAs. Go try any of their stuff that is out there right now. It's all tremendous, and worth giving a try. Sometimes as humans we get used to the natural order of things, but it's very intriguing to where we can discover new things about ourselves and to try new things. So anyway, David, thank you once again for coming on the show. We appreciate you, my friend, really.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Sam, for the opportunity, and can't wait to have a beer with you soon.
Of course. Sounds good, my friend. This has been a Why Are You Laughing podcast, and we are clear.